A very good day to you. I'm Hank Gross, MidHudsonNews.com. It's Friday, December 1st. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run. An Orange County grand jury has indicted a 36-year-old Washingtonville man on charges that he sold fentanyl to a man, causing his death. District Attorney David Hoover says Timothy Lempicki has been charged with manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, and criminal sale of a controlled substance.
The New York State statutes are woefully inadequate for this type of crime, and most of the time the most appropriate charge that we're able to charge is the highest charge, criminal sale of a controlled substance, even though the individual sold drugs that caused the death. Here we were able to charge the manslaughter in addition to the criminal sale of a controlled substance because the facts and circumstances indicated that the individual that sold the drugs knew that that particular drug was dangerous at the time.
The indictment alleges that on July 16, 2022, in Washingtonville, Lempicki sold fentanyl to a man who died. If convicted, Lempicki faces 15 years in state prison. State Assemblyman Jonathan Jacobson is commending the U.S. EPA's proposed rule requiring all lead service lines be replaced. Jacobson, who represents the cities of Newburgh and Poughkeepsie, has been pushing for the funding and requirement to replace those water lines.
Lead poisoning impedes brain and bone development in children and contributes to cardiovascular and fertility issues in adults. And quite simply, there's no safe level of lead, and this is going to go a long way.
Jacobson has been pushing on the state level for additional funding to pay for lead water line removal. A special legislative committee has received a half a dozen responses to a request for proposals to develop an intergenerational continuing care campus at the Orange County-owned Valley View Nursing and Rehabilitation Facility in Goshen. Committee Chairman Michael Amo says there are a number of options that could be considered, from a well care center to transportation, housing, and ancillary services, and a cafe. Legislature Chairwoman Katie Benelli says the RFP was drafted in an open-ended fashion.
We purposely kept the proposal vague because we wanted them to come up with creativity to say, look, you have this plot of land and you could develop something like here. This is a market that could support it, or this is a market that won't support it.
Members of the special committee plan to reconvene this month and begin reviewing the individual proposals that have been submitted. More news right after this.
Find over 100 retailers allowing you to spend hours shopping safely at the Galleria at Crystal Run. Enjoy the big brands and the diverse selection of family-owned stores all in one location. The Galleria at Crystal Run offers dining options for everyone with Fuji 110 Grill, Allen's Mediterranean Grill, and Peru Cuisine. Discover the Mid-Hudson Valley's premier shopping, dining, and entertainment destination, the Galleria at Crystal Run. For more information, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit GalleriaCrystalRun.com.
U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand announced legislation yesterday aimed at cracking down on robocalls and AI scams. Americans receive 4 billion robocalls every month, many of them from scammers. And as artificial intelligence grows, more sophisticated phone scams are becoming more sophisticated as well. Gillibrand is introducing, again, the Do Not Call Act to establish new criminal penalties for robocallers, including prison time. Orange County Department of Social Services and municipally operated warming centers are available during the winter months. County Executive Stephen Newhouse says they want all residents to remain safe and warm through the winter. Several municipalities in the county are providing warming centers and outreach for those in need. Locations include, but are not limited to, the Middletown Warming Station at 8 to 10 Mulberry Street, the Port Jervis Warming Station at 31 West Main Street, and the Newburgh Warming Station at Newburgh Ministry on 13 Bridge Street. The owners of Orange County Cannabis are optimistic following Tuesday's agreement on 2 lawsuits by the State Office of Cannabis Management. One was brought by 4 military veterans and the other by several medical marijuana companies, both challenging the state's rules that allowed people with drug convictions to open their dispensaries before anyone else. The agreement has to be approved by a judge, and if that happens, over 400 licensed adult recreational use cannabis dispensaries will be able to open after a 3-month delay. Chantel LeBron and her father Howard are co-owners of Orange County Cannabis Company, and she says the wait was financially devastating, but she's encouraged. Stay updated with local news all day online at MidHudsonNews.com. I'm Hank Gross. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run.